One magazine is one of the most boring fighters in the world, and yet you look at his skill, his movement in there, you wonder why they would say that about him. He's very exciting, too.
Well, I don't think he's boring. I think he's got lots of skills, and as you said, and he doesn't get a lot of knockouts, though he did win the title by a knockout and got off the deck to do it.
That fourth round against Antonio Rivera, some say, was the round of the year, the round you allude to when he won the title in Paris in January of this year. That's his first defense of it. Calvin Grove in the white trunks.
That wasn't boring, I'll tell you.
No.
I don't know which magazine it was, but they're not paying attention too closely.
The man who was supposed to fight until he injured his ear in training last week, Bernard Taylor, did fight Myron Taylor, and Myron lost here, the 12-round decision.
Here on ESPN, and Myron is a very tough man to figure in the ring. Got skills, he has performed very well in many fights, but the big important tests are the ones that he hasn't done well in, like the loss to Bernard Taylor, the fight with Lupe Suarez, Bazemore. Those were big fights, and just couldn't come through, and tonight he hopes to change that.
In 1980, in the Olympic trials, Myron Taylor settled for the bronze, and Bernard got the gold medal. Of course, it didn't matter. Nobody went to the Olympics in Moscow that year anyway. They both turned pro.
After the boycott.
Yeah.
Grove using the jab pretty well early. That'll be important for him. And the reason we mentioned the left hooks is that it could be a very effective power punch. And there it is, just missing against Taylor.
A big one that did just miss. A little over a minute to go in the first round.
Now, Taylor
Good
came
shot
back
with the left hand, yeah.
Yeah, Taylor came back with a good left hook to the body, and so he was conscious of countering what Grove did.
Well, Calvin claims he is more aggressive now, and so is Taylor as they mix it up. Gets his crowd worked up a little bit late in the round.
Good body work by Myron Taylor.
Ooh, two jabs and a good right thrown by the champion.
Very, very interesting first round.
Isn't it?
And this is what Taylor needs to do. Get inside, swarm Grove, land the left hooks to the body and the head. The overhand rights if he can get it in.
Well, Myron Taylor and the dark trunks knows this chance may not come again, and he's taking it right to him, but he's paid a price. Grove is unloaded with good combination in the final seconds of this round. Work continues as they wind it down. A good start.
What carpet is guaranteed to keep spills like this from becoming stains? And what carpet's also guaranteed not to mat or crush under tramping feet for 10 years? Armstrong, anything goes Stainmaster carpet. The first and only carpet guaranteed to fight stains and foot traffic.
Receive a free God cooler with your purchase of qualifying carpet at Stoner Furniture, Somerset.
Power 92 plays more music. Power 92, the station with the most music and the most winners. We play at least 9 in a row every hour following the fun on the Morning Zoo. One great song after another and more ways to win. Power 92 with the most music, the most fun, and the most winners.
Johnstown's Music Authority. Power 92.
Follow this blueprint. The jab, double jab, and then the straight right hand.
Very successful blueprint for them in that first round. It's the second. They've got a long way to go if it goes to distance 15 for the IBF Featherweight Championship. And while Grove said he certainly respects Myron Taylor, he said, let's not forget this is business and I'm here to take care of it. Taylor also shows respect for the champion. He thinks he's the best champion in this division. Of the three champions that are around the world, he respects the quick hands, and he's seen them already from Calvin Grove.
The other champs, of course, Jeff Fennick and Antonio Esparagoza.
And Fennick, the Australian, who fights only down under.
Yeah, he's never fought in the United States. What the difference, I thought the first round Taylor was able to swarm him very well. The difference this round is Calvin Grove is giving him just enough movement but still stopping and punching with authority. This is the way Grove needs to fight this fight.
Frankly, I'm impressed with both so far. The champion, you expected this, but I'm really impressed with Myron Taylor. We didn't know what to expect of him coming in here.
Well, he started out in that first round doing exactly the things he needed to do. Of course, Grove has had a minute to adjust. There's a good right to the body by Myron.
Brings the left to the body of Calvin Grove. With 13 knockouts, undefeated as a professional. Taylor has had his ups and downs, his rough spots. And the others, Bernard Taylor, Suarez, Bazemore, some of the significant defeats that he has taken.
However, he did beat a gentleman who also was defeated by Grove, who is now a bantamweight champion, Kelvin Seabrook. Very fine boxer. And Kelvin, of course, when he fought the bigger guys, just couldn't do it, but as a bantamweight, he's terrific.
And the fact that Myron Taylor is there for Grove, but not only that, willing to mix it with him, makes this a very interesting bout. You talked about it just between rounds with Mia. And here he comes after him again to the body.
Good counterpunching by Grove, and now he's tying Myron Taylor up. So Grove did what he was supposed to do, but he still couldn't prevent Myron from landing 3 or 4 good body shots.
Taylor is 28, Grove the champion, 25. Certainly Grove in his prime, but Taylor does not look to be past his by any means. Seconds to go. Good brisk action in the second round scheduled for 15. Little alley shuffle, gloves dropped low by Grove.
But
now Taylor pounds it in the corner.
And that's what Myron Taylor needs to do when he faces that from Grove. Tactically, very nice move by Myron Taylor.
Taylor not taking this challenge, this opportunity lightly as the second round draws to conclusion.
In communities across America, there's a working spirit. People working together with a feeling of pride. When that feeling exists, there's Dickey's Workplace. America, it still works. Dickey's, the brand it works in. Dickey's, made with Celanese Fortrell polyester.
1982, Benny Parsons breaks the 200-mile-per-hour mark. 1984, Johnny Rutherford is the first driver to reach 215 miles per hour. 1985, Bill Elliott becomes the Winston $1 Million winner. 1987, Alain Prost breaks Jackie Stewart's longtime winning record with his 28th win. If there's a record to be broken, you'll see it on ESPN's Auto Racing. Over 1 million miles of racing experience on ESPN.
Don Chevrier with El Bernstein, Dave Bontempo, round 3 of the scheduled 15-round title fight for the IBF Featherweight Championship, and it's been a dandy through 2 rounds so far. The quickness of feet and hands by the champion, the determination, the experience on the part of the challenger, Taylor, staying right there, using body work to good advantage, and counterpunching and scoring well when he's in that defensive mode, as he does now as he tries to get inside.
You know, these two men sparred together back when Taylor was when Grove was an amateur, and Taylor, of course, was already established as a pro. And Taylor says you can throw that out the window because we were different then. And to an extent, I think he's right.
And they're going about it a lot differently with much more at stake right here. Well, you wonder how Taylor would be so prepared. He had that fight you talked about ready to go in New York. They released him the morning of the bout. He required he got the shot, released him from the obligation there, but said he trains like he would train for a championship fight all the time, so it made no difference to him. He was not in the least unprepared for this. How do you see the scoring so far? First you, Al.
Let's see how I've got it and how Dave's got it. I have got it even, and Dave gives the edge to Grove, so he gave both rounds to Calvin Grove.
By a point. Ooh, good-looking combination with the quick hands of Grove and evidence there. There's the Taylor jab, but no follow-up as he finds Grove a more elusive target all the time. The speed becoming a factor now.
The movement important, but you see, Taylor is hoping to negate that by doing all that body work.
But he's paying for it now. He's giving up 3 and 4 punches to 1 at this point of the fight, the third round. He may get 1, 2 in with the body, get some block, but look what he takes down. The end of the exchange.
Well, that's what Calvin Grove wants to do. He wants to hit and move, hit and move, hit and move, but avoid the inside work of Myron Taylor.
There's a jab. He set it up nicely. Tried to follow with a right glancing blow that partially nailed Grove. No question about Myron Taylor, the elder of the three fighting Taylors from Philadelphia, being a worthy challenger. That went out the window with the first 30 seconds of the first round. Any concern about that?
He's fighting well. Quite frankly, better than I think a lot of people thought he might against Grove. Well, with the short notice and the fact that he hasn't performed great in a lot of fights, he's fighting the right fight. Myron Taylor is doing, win, lose, or draw, he's doing what he needs to do. Working that body, getting on the inside, and even though Grove is also looking good, I think.
If he gets inside, holds him there long enough, he brings the body shots up to the head and can be effective with that. There's a good right at the end of the exchange for the champion Grove. Good action. Round 3 comes to a close with the left thrown by the challenger Myron Taylor, walking back to his corner now. Let's go to Dave Bontempo now.
We're seeing how the change in styles and opponents has really been good for Calvin Grove. It all shows in the movement. He thought that he would be chasing Bernard Taylor around the ring because Taylor is a shuffler. But against Myron Taylor, he's been able to use the movement differently, setting up his punches against an opponent who's right in front of him. We're going to take a look at the ESPN punch profile and see how the big punches are going. For Taylor, 24 for 58 for his big right hand. Not as successful with other weapons, 32% overall. Looking over at Calvin Grove, his left hook only 8 for 31 because of that style change. Otherwise, 35 for 133 and 26% in the overall punch accuracy. Because this has been more of a moving type fight, the accuracy's been down a little bit.
Interesting. The contrasting styles have forced those changes, and here is the fourth round, scheduled for 15. They're not big man at 125 pounds, but they're hitting sufficiently hard enough that you get the impression this one may not go the distance. No indication right now as to whether it'll be Grove taking Taylor out or vice versa. Will Taylor's body work paying dividends in the later rounds? That remains to be seen.
And neither man has ever gone 15 rounds. They've both gone 12, but if they would go the distance, that body work could have a big impact.
But, you know, young men in their 20s, superbly conditioned and prepared. It should not be a problem.
It shouldn't, but we've seen a lot of boxers in which it has.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's nice to be back after nearly a month's layoff of boxing here on ESPN and get a championship match right off the bat and a good one.
We both had a hurry-up retraining program just to get reacquainted again, haven't we?
That's right, I forgot.
Me too.
Is it in between rounds or innings? I can't remember. You've been busy with innings.
Yeah. A little more to come this week. We've got more boxing for you Thursday at ESPN, by the way. The regular top-ranked card will come also from Atlantic City from Resorts on Thursday night. Right now, you're watching the IBF World Featherweight Championship being contested. A good matchup it is. Taylor again, lunging with the left, takes a good right that time from the champion. Midway in the fourth round.
Taylor committed to that body work and not deviating from that plan. Good double left hook by Taylor.
Gets through time and time again to the body of the champion. And the occasional punch that lands up higher has worked well for him, too.
Now, those are good body shots by Taylor.
Darn right.
Now, Grove is doing well here. He's landing lots of counter shots and having good rounds, but he is absorbing some big shots downstairs.
Taylor is succeeding in, at times, backing the champion up, as he is now. But, of course, Grove's speed is getting him around this ring almost effortlessly.
Yeah, you won't find too many slicker boxers in Calvin Grove. Somebody may call it boring. I just call it skillful.
So do I.
And interesting.
And we have seen both tonight. 30 seconds to go in the fourth. Might have been a little low. First the right, then the left from Taylor, but he commits himself and continues with a body attack. Jab, jab, two right, big combination by Grove.
A wonderful hand speed by Grove.
Taylor sticks to his thing, Grove to his. So this interesting fight continues to the end of the fourth round at Atlantic City.
It's time to visit one of the world's great garden spots. the lawn and garden department at your local True Value hardware store. Where the green machine is just $88.95. It's an electric weeder, cultivator, and aerator. Then pick up this 15-inch Weed Eater gas trimmer with a tap-and-go line advance for just $77.88. And get the True Timber Rhino wheelbarrow that holds 4.5 cubic feet. It's just $24.99 at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
If quality is your passion, then GMC Truck has something for you. Whether you choose the popular S15 Jimmy, the sporty S15 pickup, or the full-size Sierra, you'll find GMC trucks as comfortable and stylish as they are rugged and dependable. Now, for a limited time, combine option value packages with a $500 cash rebate and save up to a total of $2,400. With value like this, there is no better truck or time to buy. GMC Truck, it's not just a truck anymore.
The fifth round as we approach the 1/3 mark of this title fight, IBF Featherweight Championship at stake. Talked about how these two have respect for each other. They have been friends back in the amateur days. In fact, Grove said, I still consider myself a friend of his, but I guess we'll know after I beat him just how strong that relationship was.
Well, Myron Taylor hopes he won't have to worry about that problem. And in the fashion of a true friend, he hopes to unburden him of that worry.
Let me take this little load off you, Tim. Now, you talked about it. The work of Taylor to the body and the approach to the fight by the champion, Grove. How often do you see two boxers stick with their fight plan this long without having been reminded and brought back to the point by the corners? That hasn't been necessary.
It's a very good point, Don, and really that is the key to this. And that's what's making it, in my mind, a very intriguing and interesting fight to watch. Taylor doesn't deviate. He's doing what he knows he needs to do, and so is Grove.
Let's see how you two, Al, along with Dave Bontempo, see it.
Mine closer, obviously. I've got even Dave. They still got Grove ahead by a couple of points. And I think you can make a case for either of those.
He gave him that advantage in the first 2 rounds, and that has continued now through the 4th into the 5th here. I would call it a very even fight at this stage. One that is up for grabs and can still go either way. Very definitely. And when you get a substitute so late, you never know what to expect. But this has been a bonus. Myron Taylor in the dark trunk, waiting in on the champion.
And here's another important thing about the way Taylor's fighting. He's not just running in, he's jabbing his way in. Very important maneuver on his part.
The sheer hand speed of Grove is what's getting him in. But he's not concentrating at the body at all, not like Taylor is doing.
No, he is headhunting, and that's the appropriate thing. The jab, a big weapon for Calvin Grove. We thought he would be using the left hook a little bit more. He hasn't, but he's been successful with other things. But see, this is what Taylor wants. Doubling with the left hook, getting inside, not getting hit too much coming in right now.
And you enter into scoring philosophies, don't you, Al? And it's because with one guy going to the body so much, a lot of judges don't regard that as being important. Others might give him points for that, but it's a dangerous tactic.
Some of them just ignore it. But for Taylor, he almost has to do this, Don, because it's his best shot at winning the fight. But you raised a good point. He could suffer from it in the scoring.
And yet, as you say, there's no better way to approach Grove than the way he is doing it consistently here. Getting down now toward the end of the 5th round. It is scheduled for 15. And much more to come from Atlantic City for the IBF Featherweight Crown. Stay with us, see what happens.
Nursing offers challenges few can master, but as a flight nurse in today's Air Force Reserve, you'll find the challenge on the ground is just the beginning. You'll start as an officer, leading others, advancing quickly, commanding the respect of your fellow teammates. All it takes is 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. The challenge may begin on the ground, but the experience will lift you to new heights. Today's Air Force Reserve, a great way to serve.
Hi, I'm Chuck Woolery. I love cars, but I hate grease, just like this greasy engine. But now there's Clear Magic. Just spray it on, hose it off, and grease and grime disappear like magic. You see this grease spot on my shirt, Clear Magic and water, and it's gone. It's non-toxic, it's non-flammable, and it's totally biodegradable. Clear Magic has 1,000 different uses around the house, but don't tell your wife or it'll disappear. Like magic.
Clear Magic.
The jab of Calvin Grove, it's the cornerstone of what he does, and boy, there's a nice one to the head of Myron Taylor.
Here's the 6th round. Don Chevrier with Al Bernstein, Dave Bontempo with you. And it's a case of Mr. Upstairs and Mr. Downstairs as we get to the second third of this title fight. Taylor got a good right off at the end of that exchange.
That overhand right to Myron Taylor that we thought he might be using more of, but that one he got in with.
Looping left at the end of the exchange. It seems that Taylor is finishing more of their encounters lately.
And there is the double hook of Calvin Grove. So we thought he'd be using more of that, and he's gone to that weapon now.
Good jab. That's nothing new for Grove. We've seen that much of the evening.
And he followed with a straight right hand. And Myron Taylor, I tell you, the punches he's throwing to the body, to a lot of them, he's getting great leverage out.
They have to have an effect. I don't care what condition you're in. It's got to be felt by Calvin Grove.
You know, what's happening here tonight, in my opinion, is that Myron Taylor is rising to the occasion. It's a close fight. There's the overhand right. It's a close fight to be sure, and Calvin Grove is performing well, too. But this is the best Myron Taylor, I think, can box, and he's doing it at the right time for him.
Knowing, as I said earlier, that who knows when the next title opportunity might come down the road, if ever, at age 28 for him.
Now,
he makes the most.
Excuse me, Don. For Calvin Grove, he's got to respond to this in the right way, and to an extent, he's doing that. He's keeping that jab working, trying to drop in the straight right hand. However, that will not be a knockdown, I don't believe.
No, his foot swept out from under him. There's a little moisture in the corner just above us here, and that, I think, is what took the left leg of Grove out from under him.
We talked about conditioning. Calvin Grove worked with Mackie Shilstone, the conditioner who, of course, was so well known for his work with Michael Spinks when he moved up to the heavyweight division. Good hook there by Grove. These are very close rounds.
Yeah, that technique has been known to add power to a boxer, and that's what Grove has been looking for, although he has knocked out 13. Taylor has KO'd a dozen in his career as a pro. 30 seconds to go. Good hand speed again by the champion in evidence.
Very nice right hand by Grove. This is very enjoyable. Two boxers doing what they do best. Both men sticking to what they feel can work. This makes it for a very close fight.
So many ugly sides to boxing. Here's the skill, here's the science, here's the speed, and the athletic ability that's shining through that certainly makes the sport worthwhile when you see what we're seeing tonight. This round draws to a close. And again, as you said, entertaining. Certainly, the crowd here has gotten its money's worth already. We've got a long way to go. Let's go to Dave Bontempo.
Well, Don, we've had action and reaction. Right now, the action is being forced by Myron Taylor on the inside, forcing Calvin Grove back, doing his best work. Consequently, Grove at times is fighting not to lose rather than to win. He's about a step or two back from where he really needs to be to do his most effective work. And I think that when we take a look at the stats with this, we may see that Calvin Grove is trying to be too far on the outside. For Myron Taylor, 46 for 108. That's because he's in close, 34% overall. Let's take a look at Calvin Grove and see how he matches up with the numbers in a little bit. So far, Grove has been so far on the outside. 19 for 61. That's why he's not getting in and he's too far out, just like it would be if they were shooting baskets. I think Calvin Grove has to get a little bit closer. Back to Don.
All right, David. Well, judges have no way of getting that information, of course, but I think in their perception, the one who lands the most consistently is often going to win a fight. And if you do it that way strictly, despite the fact you're body shots, then Myron Taylor would be the guy who's ahead right now. But it's still got to be mighty close to those scorecards, and we'll be checking Al and Dave's in just a moment or two. All the movement has come from Grove, and he was right about one thing. Taylor was right there in front of him and would be all night. He's been there a little bit too much to Grove's liking, I'm sure.
I thought Dave's comment was quite interesting about Calvin on occasion looking a little bit like he's fighting not to lose rather than to win. And I think it's because he's surprised at this point at the tenacity of Myron Taylor and the fact that all those straight right hands and the occasional hook and the jabs haven't really stopped the onslaught of Taylor.
And Grove has felt the body shots, too. I mean, he knows that he's been slowed down, even though he has great speed. It's cost him. Midway in the 7th round, the rap on Grove was that until he won the title against Antonio Rivera in France, that he couldn't punch. Well, that got taken care of now when he took Rivera out to win the championship in January. No real punching power in evidence here, but certainly some forceful blows, but mainly you got to be impressed with how he gets them off, how quickly, and the rapid number he gets off and the short space of time.
He's gotten some pretty good leverage into that right hand, but Myron Taylor has withstood it. Only 2 men have knocked Taylor out, Refugio Rojas and Lucas Suarez, and they both have terrific power, so you have to have some real power to knock Taylor out. Good countering by Calvin Grove on the inside.
Suarez got him in 7, Rojas in 9.
Now, tactically, this is where Taylor wants to fight, even if Grove does some good work, which he has on the inside.
You bet. This is to Taylor's advantage, certainly late in this round. So now, the champion ignoring all that, he's willing to mix it in close.
But see, the good right to the body. Taylor won't let him go. Keeps after him.
The fight plan continues with a certain amount of success. Load up right to the bell.
Pressured constantly by Taylor, does some very nice counterpunching. A right to the jaw of Myron Taylor in the 7th round, probably one of the closest rounds of boxing you will ever see.
We approach the midway point of the scheduled 15-rounder for the IBF Featherweight Championship, currently held by the man, White Trunks, Calvin Grove. First title offense, and it has been a workout for him against the body banging of Myron Taylor from Philadelphia. Taylor is probably thinking that because he has worn his man down with body shots, that the speed won't continue in the part of the champion. Well, so far, it's still in evidence. Let's check the scoring of Al Bernstein and Dave on tempo. Well, Al makes it even, and Dave has got a 1-point edge for Calvin Grove. It is at least that close.
Yeah, very close one.
You can, argue over a point here, a point there, but it's right on the line for both of them. Good shot there. Great combination now. Here Grove finally has stunned Taylor. And continues to unload, but Taylor comes back with the body work. Mouthpiece is gone from Taylor. That came flying out. That's always a bad sign. His mouth is open before these blows.
And then Calvin Grove came with a terrific left hook to the body.
Still hops around to get through.
Wow, and Taylor will not back up, and he's been stunned. Keeps coming forward against Grove. This is a pivotal round right here. What if Myron Taylor can get through this round? Will it daunt Calvin Grove a little?
If he does, then Calvin will think he's been pounding his fist against a brick wall with no avail.
It's certainly a wonderful effort in this round by Grove.
His biggest of the entire bout so far. Another right stung in. Taylor has taken some wicked shots. Grove wants to end it with this guy. Can't take much in the way of chances with him. And is on his way to doing it right here, but he can't seem to take him down.
Taylor's left hand so low, he's getting hit with those straight rights by Grove. Calvin knows he's still dangerous off those ropes, but Myron's waiting to get that left hook off. Good uppercut by Grove.
No knockdown, but obviously a very big round, maybe a 2-point round for Calvin Grove here with less than 30 to go on the 8th. Myron Taylor very heavy of limb now as he quads in toward the champion. Seconds remaining in the 8th round. As Al said, a pivotal round for the champion, Calvin Grove. Here's the measure of respect, a tap on the head from Grove because Taylor somehow stood up under all that. Taylor losing that mouthpiece early in the round paid the price. David?
Myron Taylor, 30% punch efficiency so far after 8 rounds. He had the action in close that round. Big improvement that round for Calvin Grove as he started to come in closer on his punches. He was probably a couple steps closer, sat down more on his punches, improved to 34%. Good inside work by Grove.
Inside, downstairs, upstairs. Boy, he teed off on him there, and I don't know how Taylor stayed in his feet, but he did.
Good combinations by Grove, and he put some power behind those shots as well.
Grove trying to show Taylor just how fresh he wants him to think he is starting this round.
You start to think about a 15-round fight, which is scheduled for, and you start to think about the pace that these guys have set, and it has been very, very quick. Certainly the fact that Taylor was hurt in that last round have a big impact on him.
He did bend, but he did not break in that round.
Myron is moving backwards a lot more, though, in this round. He's staying on the outside, which is where Grove wants him.
Really, for the first time in this bout.
I think that 8th round took a lot out of Myron Taylor. A big difference in the way he's fighting this round. A big difference.
He's got to wonder about all the body banging he's done, why it hasn't slowed the champion more than it has. It looks like Calvin has simply shrugged it all off.
Well, one thing that's happened here is Myron Taylor has gotten tired, and so his technique is not there. One of the things that was really good about him in the first 7 rounds was that his technique was better than I've ever seen it. He was really turning the left hook, throwing his punches in a much better fashion. That's not there now. And if that isn't there, then you know he's not going to be able to hurt Calvin Grove.
Now he comes on with a combination after spending the first half of the round as a very much wounded warrior, just trying to regroup and collect himself.
And that combination was a good example. None of those punches were thrown with as much authority with his body as much as earlier punches were. Well, Randy Newman pushed Calvin Grove away right in the middle of a couple punches. Randy himself, a former heavyweight, well able to do that, a good boxer in his day.
Almost needed some defensive skills there.
Grove, interestingly, though, there's a good counter right hand. I was going to say, he hasn't been as aggressive as you might think he would be.
Hasn't followed up at a success of the 8th round like you can say you would expect.
Now, here's Taylor on the inside, but he's not ripping punches as well as he did earlier. You can see those punches are a lot different. They're more arm punches, not as much authority.
The whole bout is different since the 8th round. He's very, very close until Calvin Grove unloaded. And might have, as I say, won a 2-point round back in the 8th. But you're right, the persistence of Taylor, the body blows, and when they come, are not there. There's the round. And Calvin Grove might have just taken a little time off, although it's a strange time to do it, having beaten his man so badly in the previous round. Maybe he is getting tired, and he has paid the price and is wearing down more than we thought.
Take it out. Now, he's ready to go, Calvin. You got it. Don't get careless. Keep putting your punches together. Okay, loop that overhand right again. It's a good time for it. Take the jab and turn the right hand over. You loop it down, like you did a while ago, okay? Off the jab. Everything off the jab. Don't let him sit there and time you with nothing. Put the jab first and then do it again.
Calvin Grove has been setting up the right hand very well with the jab, and he also throws it as a lead counter punch when Taylor comes in, as he did in that instance.
Again, we got 5 more to go, baby. Here we go, that long. Okay, how do you feel? Okay, let's go. Get the jab with him. Don't get doing nothing.
little arithmetic problem in the corner there. They've got 6 more to go.
Yeah, but you tell him at 5, he'll think, hey, it's closer than, work a little harder maybe. But I'll tell you, the fatigue I saw finally where it's probably safe to show it for Calvin Grove, sitting on his stool there. He's tired too.
I think he is, and he might have coasted a little bit in that last round, although he still had him winning it because Myron didn't do that much offensively either.
Well, the pace that was set earlier, with the speed of Grove and the pounding of the body consistently by Taylor getting inside the first 7 rounds, has to take its toll either way. This is for the IBF Featherweight Championship. Don Chevrier, Al Bernstein, Dave Bontempo with you. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Sing Special Live on ESPN. And what was a close fight, let's check and see if you two gentlemen still make it that way. I think that round did change things.
It did in my mind. I even made that 8th round a 2-point round, which I very seldom do when it's not a knockdown. But I have Grove, well, Dave and I both now have Grove ahead by 3 points.
At least you agree on that.
we
second the motion.
Yeah, we agree on a few other
things. Well, you were a point
well.
apart earlier. He gave him the first couple of rounds, Grove, and you had it more even. But now you're right on. Which doesn't mean a thing unless you're an official judge, and you're not.
Not even close.
That gives some indication. Jab, jab, jab. Don Grove, midway in the 11th round.
These men have each been 12 rounds, twice for Taylor and once for Calvin Grove, so they're not yet in unfamiliar territory.
This is round 10. We will just amend as 11 popped up a while ago.
Good counter right by Grove. What was that I said about arithmetic problems in the corner?
It's become an epidemic. These two may be friends, but Taylor is after something Calvin Grove reveres, and that is his new IBF Featherweight Championship, just won in January. And they've been taking care of business here tonight in entertaining fashion for the most part for this crowd in Atlantic City. But right now, it is heading in Grove's direction. That's where this title came from as they started the night. 2 good shots with the left hand. There's a grazing right. Taylor keeps on coming for more now as the seconds wind down the completion of this, the 10th round.
Hi, Tom. Looks like you beat me again.
No problem, Whitey. Have a sporting news on me. I get it at home, and that's where I'm heading.
I get the sporting news at home, too. But when I'm on the road, I buy it to keep up, especially about you American Leaguers.
I thought you were always up on us American Leaguers, Whitey.
Watch it, Kelly. I'll get you at the All-Star game for that one. In the meantime, stay with the sporting news.
For all the baseball news, read the Sporting News every week. You get hot pennant action, player profiles, more stats and inside updates than any other sports weekly. Plus complete year-round coverage of football, basketball, and hockey, including special issues. Call for a super deal that saves you 75% off the newsstand price.
For convenient home delivery and a super deal, call now toll-free 1-800-535-7700. Get 55 issues of the Sporting News for 4 easy payments of $7.50. Call now 1-800-535-7700. That's 1-800-535-7700.
They go to the last third, the scheduled 15-round title bout for the IBF Featherweight Championship. With the champion in the white trunks, moving now to the left, Calvin Grove, more and more taking charge and command. Notice Dave, or Al, in the last round, that whenever Taylor did come in and offer something to the champion, it was more upstairs and downstairs. He really gotten away from the body work.
Well, I think he has because he's sensing that he's behind and he doesn't need to really hurt Grove. But also, the big problem is he's not throwing those punches with a lot of conviction and with as much technique as he did earlier.
The baby of the Taylor family, Meldrick, is going to get his chance against Buddy McGirt, June the 12th in Chicago for a World Junior Welterweight Championship. So it's been quite a couple of months coming up here for the Taylor boys.
It'd be quite an interesting matchup, and I'm sure Meldrick's looking at this, hoping his brother can pull something out of the hat. Now Myron is allowing Grove to do what he needs to do. Box at long range, double up on punches, because he's not pressing the attack, not doing swarming, as we talked about in the keys to victory.
But he was swarming like a pack of angry bees earlier. No question of that.
He had himself 7 very good rounds, even though I thought it was a very even fight at that point. He did well in every round, even the ones he lost.
Midway in the 11th.
Nice combination punching and hand speed. You know, one of the gentlemen that might have ended up in this fight, Jeff Franklin, who we've seen a number of times here in the 10, they decided not to fight Grove, not feeling he was not ready for the fight. It's interesting now. I wonder what he's thinking looking at this fight, because Grove has certainly fought well, but does he think that he has a style very similar to Myron Taylor? Does he feel like he would have been doing well in this fight?
I recall that now that you mentioned it. After his last win, they wanted to evaluate. The chance was there for a title shot.
Yes, he had it.
They said, no, he's not ready yet. We'll wait.
And you remember Franklin had fought a draw against Bernard Taylor.
Yes. In case you joined us late, Bernard Taylor, originally the challenger, sustained an ear injury during training and was all of a sudden out of the fight last week. And Myron Taylor's dream came true. And for a while here, the first 7 rounds or so, it looked like he might cash in on that dream. But the 8th round turned it around, an enormous round for the champion Grove. And while he hasn't been as spectacular since, he's been very much in command over a tired Taylor. Ticking down in the 11th round. You now have 4 to go, and you get the same. I think it's for real. That's a good point.
You know, the interesting thing about our punch profile is that at a certain point in this fight, punches landed. Grove had 149 to 137. Now look where it's gotten to. 207 to 1. Well, he's got about 100 or less. You know what? I'm doing my arithmetic as bad as the Phil Esposito did the other night on the hockey. So just forget about it, okay?
It's the trouble when you work with a solar calculator and the sun goes down.
Yeah, and Phil's, that's right. Phil Esposito's in the crowd here, too. He's getting chastised on an ESPN hockey match for not figuring out the time and a penalty. I'm with you, Phil. Suffice to say that the number of punches landed by Grove has gone up rapidly in the last 3 rounds.
As I recall, it was 34 to 31% after the 7th round for Myron Taylor until he almost got his head taken off in the 8th round with the champion Grove. And really, you could almost play back 9, 10, 11, and one would certainly pass for the other. Because since the 8th round, Taylor has not been as effective, and that's an understatement, and Grove has just steadily gone about his craft here. Steadily piling up points, increasing his lead, and denying a challenger a chance to catch up. Fatigue factor. .30 seconds to go, and the distance in terms of 15 rounds versus 10, a good point made by Dave Bontempo between rounds a moment ago. Certainly a factor that is harming Taylor at this stage. Gaining trained for a bout, it was to within a 10-rounder just last Thursday in the Taylor sits on his the 13th. Well, you can't mandate it for every bout. That is the distance. A couple of were boxing
is appropriate, and I might be one of them. Say that this is the championship limit, that it's these 3 rounds that are going to show whether a guy can really finishes a champion.
Traditionally, that has been the case.
And you can go back many, many times in boxing history, like even Jersey Joe Walcott and Rocky Marciano, when Walcott had that fight well in hand in the 13th round, Marciano knocked him out. Not suggesting that's going to happen here, but it has happened before.
Well, that's the reason you mention it. It's a rare occurrence, but
yes,
noteworthy just the same. This man, Myron Taylor, does not appear to have enough left to do that.
Doesn't look like it. No, he's not. And one of the
in Atlantic City.
Now,
14.
A little bit of it now here in this 14th round.
He's found it so difficult to get back to what he was successful at in the first 7 rounds.
Now, the problem with that now is body punches alone are not going to do it for him. He's got to do that and come up to the head. So he's got to use that double left hook.
He started doing that with the total abandonment of the body punches about 5-6 rounds ago. Now you can debate 12, 15 rounds championship distance. One thing is certain, that regardless of your conditioning, it's got to be awfully tiring now on the home stretch. We're into it now with what appears to be an enormous lead on the scorecards of Islandale.
Yeah, and Dave and I both agree that there's a 7-point difference for Calvin Grove, which buttresses the punch profile material, numbers of which I won't even attempt to get into.
Wisely.
Having nearly destroyed it the last time out.
It's almost like a football game where midway through in the 8th round, they changed ends, and suddenly Calvin Grove got the wind. Had it at his back. And has it now. It was actually a very close fight until then.
Yes. Grove retaining his movement. He's shown just enough. You've got to really say that there are some very entertaining matchups out there for him. It'd be very nice to see him in against the Fennec or the Zaragoza. Would be a wonderful matchup. We mentioned Jeff Franklin, who is a man who might be in here. I'd still like to see him in against Bernard Taylor. I think Bernard is a worthy challenger and would present a different style than Myron.
Well, Calvin said after this he wants to travel the world, defend his title in Japan, in Europe. Who knows what lies ahead for him.
Well, if he can get through the remaining 3 minutes and 19 seconds or so here, he'll be able to do it.
With a good right set up by 2 left hands very quickly to the head of Myron Taylor. Style.
You know, a very interesting point about that is, once Calvin Grove went over to hug him, and they kind of touched gloves, I got to tell you, Myron Taylor could have hit him, and some fighters might, but a good show of good sportsmanship by both men.
Well, the ultimate breach of sportsmanship is hitting on the hug.
Could be a new phrase he's coined tonight.
You don't see it that often.
You don't see a hug before the 15th round very often.
Exactly.
Now, Calvin Grove, though, knows that Myron Taylor came here to do a job and has really made a serious effort. And I think Taylor understands that Calvin Grove is boxing very, very well.
Not just the speed of Grove, but the stamina that has endured the 15 rounds. The title defense at Atlantic City. But determination, heart, yes. Taylor has those 2 ingredients.
Calvin Grove looks like a man that would like to step into that company. He's performing well tonight.
20 seconds to go now. Oh, Grove teeing off has hurt him very late in the bout. Stung him again. There's a chopping right hand that does some damage. And they finish it the way they started it, with a flourish. A very